The business case that I'm going to talk about relates to the story of a company called First Solar, who seek to become the largest solar energy company in the whole world, and how the circumstances around them made their path difficult and unstable. This story is centered around two countries, which are United States and China. Now, moving to the US business environment, their main sectors of industry are agriculture, manufacturing of machinery, chemical products, food, and automobiles. And renewable energy growth in the US is set to accelerate in 2022 as concern for climate and the demand for cleaner energy sources. And as for the company First Solar, in 2011 they controlled approximately 41% of the US market in regards of renewable energy. Now, moving on to China, China was the biggest change in solar production. This is because they were filling the market with low-priced crystalline silicon solar panels, and by 2012, Chinese producers were manufacturing nearly 60% of the entire world supplies of PV panels. The Chinese business environment is currently thriving, and the benefits of their new trade and investment agreements are luring other countries, since these negotiations would include better access for American and European investors to China's market. And right now, China is leading in renewable energy production and is currently the world's largest producer of wind and solar energy. And in our business case, it is mentioned that in 2009, China became the leader of PV solar production. Regarding free trade agreements, China is a country benefiting more in investment in general, since they are focused on appealing to foreign investment. And these benefits also affect consumers and importers in the European Union and especially in the US. In the last years, China has widened market access, improved their business environment, opened more sectors for foreign investors, and encouraged more foreign capital to pump into high-end manufacturing. One downside, however, is that uneven enforcement of the law remains a critical problem in China. Okay, so the best way that I could think of to describe clusters present in the US is by showing you this image, where you can see all the clusters present in the US and how each cluster focuses on a different type of industry and products. And same thing for China. In this image, you can see all the clusters in China and the different products that they make and which industries they focus on. For the United States, their main primary and secondary sectors of industry include agriculture, specifically corn, soy, beef, and cotton, manufacturing of machinery, chemical products, food, and automobiles. And a tertiary market that has been taking popularity is focused on finance, new technologies, insurance, real estate, rentals, and leases. And in China, their primary sector is agriculture. Their secondary sector thrives in manufacturing, and their tertiary sector consists of wholesale and retail trades, transport, and storage. In the United States, their culture is made up of both conservative and liberal elements and scientific and religious competitiveness. The United States is the third largest country with a population of more than 332 million. Also, the United States is known as a melting pot, since it is one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world and more than 350 languages are spoken. In China, their culture is all about cultural values of harmony, benevolence, courtesy, wisdom, honesty, and loyalty. And regarding their demographics, as of 2020, China's population stood at 1.412 billion. The US financial regulatory system has been described as fragmented, since at a federal level, regulators can be clustered in four areas, which are depository regulators, securities markets regulators, government-sponsored enterprise regulators, and consumer protection regulators. But what is a regulator? Well, they are in charge of regulating financial institutions, markets, and products using licensing, registration, rulemaking, enforcement, and resolution powers. There are different types of regulations such as prudential, disclosure, standard setting, competition, and price and rate regulations. Now, as for China, banks dominate the Chinese financial system. However, the bond market is still underdeveloped. One negative about Chinese stock markets is that they are often compared to casinos, driven heavily by speculation rather than an investment. For this last part of the story, I'm going to focus on the politics and policies of both China and the United States. The US government is based on a written constitution, and from this single document, the entire federal government was created. This constitution created 3 separate branches of government, each branch with its own powers and areas of influence. The branches are the legislative branch that consists in the Congress, the executive branch, where the power lies within the president, and the judicial branch that consists of the Supreme Court and the federal courts. Their constitution is built on 6 basic principles, which are popular sovereignty, limited government, separation of powers, checks and balances, judicial review, and federalism. Now, regarding the American political system, the US exists under a 2-party system. The 2 major parties in America are the Democratic and Republican parties. However, there can be third parties as well. In China, the political situation has been stable, with the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, firmly in power, and, well, they are the only political party and have full jurisdiction and authority in the country. And lastly, in China, the president is the head of state and is elected by the National People's Assembly, and he represents China in international institutions. And that would be all for this story. Thank you very much.